If your screenplay or novel is so hot that a producer or publisher would need oven gloves to read it, then it's probably time to look for an agent. No idea where to start? Well, you've come to the right place. Although the debate rages as to whether or not you actually need an agent, my advice would be to at least try. Agents understand market demands and trends, and they also know what makes quality writing. They represent a really good health check. Right from the outset, you need to understand the commercial viability of your project. Although it's true that writers can write whatever they want, if you actually want to sell it, then you need to be writing something that somebody wants to buy. And don't forget that agents receive thousands of scripts and manuscripts a year. Every single agent, by necessity, is looking for a reason to reject. It's unfortunate, but it's the way the industry is. Your job is to make sure that they don't have a reason. That brings me neatly onto rejection. Rejection, unfortunately, is part of the industry, and as somebody who is creative, you need to develop a very thick skin. Remember that agents or producers are rejecting a project, not rejecting you. Finding the right agent can be a time-consuming exercise. You can easily find listings in directories such as writer and artist yearbooks. You don't need to buy the absolute newest one. You can usually pick up one that's a year or two old. Agents usually specialise in a particular field or genre, and they do that because that's where their passion is. If they're not explicit about those genres on the website, then determine it from the writers they represent. Authors usually thank their agents in their novels, so if you love a story and want to find out who represents them, then the best thing to do is check out the acknowledgements or the dedications in the book. Once you have a likely list of agents, it's time to make a soft approach, and you do that using a letter and single-page outlines. If you want a sample of a single-page outline, go to www.clickimagination.com. Never send full manuscripts or a full novel unless you're specifically asked to do so. Make sure that your screenplay or novel is as complete as it possibly can be, and don't ever follow up a month later with a revision. Agents, just like the rest of us, want to work with people that they like. Don't be afraid to put some information about yourself in the single-page outline or the covering letter. It's important that the agent understands who you are and why you're writing. Remember that first impressions count, so keep everything clean, tidy and well presented. For unsolicited approaches, agents usually have a generic inbox. They will then distribute the work to their agents based on a particular genre. If your approach is to a particular agent, then by all means put your reason why in your email. If you want to make an approach to a specific agent themselves, and you want to find their email address, then try Googling combinations of their name and initials and the domain name of the agency. Well-established agents are usually the toughest nuts to crack, as they can handpick the writers they represent. The best approach is to young agents or new agents to a particular agency who are building a list. It's always worth keeping a directory of agents you've approached and the work that you submitted to them. It's also worth keeping a record of the date that you sent material in and whether or not you got a reply. As for how many approaches to make at any one time, we would generally say 6. If you don't get a favourable response from 6 hand-picked agents, then it's likely that the market doesn't respond favourably to your material or your approach is off the mark. As for when to send a follow-up email, that's always a bit tricky. We would suggest no sooner than 12 weeks. However, prepare yourself. It's generally the case that agents don't miss submissions. So if you've not heard anything, you could suddenly find you get a rejection bounce back. Okay, that's our list of tips. Hope it's useful and has been helpful. If it has, please take time to like and subscribe. If you've got any comments and suggestions that has worked for you in approaching agents, by all means stick them in the comments section below. We'd love to hear from you. For more information, please visit www.clickimagination.com. Thanks for watching and look forward to seeing you in the next video. It's actually surprisingly difficult to read a script with oven gloves.